Okay, welcome back to Taco Bowler Gaming. My name is Taco Bowler, and last time in our tutorial series here, we completed Prepare Reconquista, and so that is what we are going to be trying to do as soon as our truce is up. So if you declare war on someone before your truce is up, it's massive problems. You lose 5 stability. Right now we have 0. You gain 5 war exhaustion. That's really, really bad. You don't want to do it most times. There's sometimes you can, but most times you don't really want to be doing that. You also get aggressive expansion with a lot of people, and that will create problems. So that's not something that we want to be doing, but the truce will expire. You hover over this icon, or you can hover over it in your diplomacy tab, which I suppose I should be telling you right-clicking on these countries when I pull up a tab. On the diplomacy tab, the truce is right up here at the top, and then you can also see it there. So we have to get to February. So this is a good time to just speed 5, just to get to February. I've been trying not to go too fast here, but we're literally not doing anything. Wait, we will be doing something. I am going to need my navy. So I need to unmothball my navy and give it some months, in this case 7 months, actually 8 months, to heal. So it might not actually be healed by then. Also, when February rolls around, I need to make sure that this navy is docked back up here. We can give it a few more months of protecting trade, but we need to make sure that that happens. So if you don't feel comfortable going fast, that's fine. But that's all that I'm basically doing here, is I'm going to make sure that I get my navies ready to go, and then hit the ground running. And we're going to pause anytime there's an event. I don't think that really matters. And so Granada has a new king. I'm going to slow down in January. Alright. I'm going to find these 9 ships, and we're just going to connect up our fleet and have that going well. Now, we will be fighting against Morocco and Tunis. Like I said in the last episode, and I'm going to combine these fleets with G, same as with the armies. Now, like I said in the last episode, if they had allied the Ottomans, which can happen, then I likely would have fabricated a claim on Morocco, which will deal with fabricating claim. It's an interaction of, you build a spy network up to 20, and then you can fabricate a claim. Unless the province is in the Empire, which is something we probably won't deal with in this tutorial. But they are allied to only Granada, so that would have been just Morocco and its vassals, which is Talafot, Suez, and Marrakesh down here, and Granada. But for now, I think we'll be okay. We do get the opportunity to find out if we're going to be okay. So that's good. So there's a couple ways you can find out if you're going to be okay. Ooh, Aragon won't join. When is Aragon's truce with Granada up? February of next year. Interesting. I would like a royal marriage with you. We have to go 2 days because we have to have a diplomat to declare war. So, generally speaking, I like to look at manpower more than looking at force limit, because they may not be up to complete force limit. So one way you can look is down here. Yes, you know, they have those troops. I also know I'm going to wipe Granada's troops off the face of the planet very, very quickly in the war. So, you know, that's not something to worry about. We can kind of subtract them off the bit, and we can also subtract the 14,000 reserve there. If your manpower is close to theirs, you're probably going to be okay. The other way you can check is if you do go into the ledger, you can just do the math. So this is something I like to see, right? Morocco has 12, and so that's all that shows up on the forces they have. Yeah, but they can get up to 21, right? So they can make 9 more. Tunis can make 10 more, so they can get 19 more. Grenada can get 5 more as well, but like they can get 19 more than what they're showing. I can't. I'm at full. Navarra maybe could get a couple more. And it's a pretty even fight right now. So that would be a concern. But you can call in your allies. And if you're playing with just the DLC that I talked about in the first episode, then you can just call them in right now. You can call them in once every 10 years. So if we call in Tlemcen, you can see that our forces go up by a whopping 3. But if we call in the Papal State, our forces have now gone up quite significantly, and our manpower is higher than theirs. The manpower will be what the manpower is. So I think that that is a good thing to be doing. Now, Tlemcen will probably be destroyed quickly, but at least they add some navy power to fighting off Morocco and Tunis, as well as, I guess, Grenada, as will the Papal State. They have their 11 ships here. And then maybe in a year, Aragon would join as well, and then it would be really, really bad. That's the other thing that we could do, is if I really was worried about this, I could wait the year and let Aragon lose its truce and call Aragon in as well, but I don't really think I need to. Now let's talk about war goals. Our Casus Belli, which is what we use to declare war. If you remember, previous episode, I had a subjugation Casus Belli against Navarra. That would have been subjugation. I think I have to control their capital for that one. I have currently a humiliate rival CB against all of my rivals, but one of them being Portugal. So that would be take the capital, but all sorts of things that you can do there. Conquest CB is to take the province that you have a claim on. You have to have a claim to get this, and you want to take the province you have a claim on. So you want to make sure that the province you are taking, you can take, and maybe you can hold. So I know that there's going to be forts that block anyone from getting over here. So I want to declare for the one furthest away. So I'm going to declare for Mariella here. And if you forget to call them in, there's normally a pop-up that pops up, and you can call them in later. So I'm declaring over here because it doesn't have a fort, which means I can take it quickly. And also, it's going to be difficult for my enemies to actually get over here, because it is, a ways away. Now, I will mention in this war as well that there is an ability to walk across the strait, provided you're not blocked by ships, which is why the Navy game is so important here. If we walk across the strait, that'd be great. However, Portugal controls this province in Quetta. So it's up to Portugal whether they give us access or not. And in fact, if England hadn't rivaled me, I probably would be allied to Portugal right now, just so I can get that access. But also, Morocco can't walk across it, right? If one can walk across it, everyone can walk across it. So that's, kind of something important here. I've also set up my armies. So I've set this one up, my combat stack next to their army, so that I can quickly just destroy them. I've also set up my general with the best siege, which is that fourth one, the one on the far right, under leader, to be next to their biggest fort, which in this case is a level 2 fort right here. So that they can hop on and they can be doing that quickly. So we're going to declare war. And I'm going to, before I even unpause, tell them to go. Tell them to go. Now, if you don't control both sides of the strait, which right now no one controls Portugal, then you can be blocked. If you controlled both sides of the strait, you cannot be blocked. So that's something to remember. Also, I should have co-belligerented Morocco. So co-belligerenting would be when you have you say, you know what, not only am I attacking Granada, I'm also attacking Morocco. And that would make their provinces be the regular amount to take. As it is, they're going to be twice as much to take, which means likely I won't be able to get this one, that one, and that one, which I would like because they are in the trade zone. I think I mentioned that in the first episode. But that's okay. We can come back from Morocco later. It does mean that Morocco is just a matter of getting them to accept a white peace. Now, one thing that I can do is that I can stop improving relations and actually start building a spy network against my enemies. So in 5 days, I'm going to do that. I guess on March 4th, I'm going to do that. And the reason I can do that... Alright, so now, the reason I can do that is that you have what's called a siege tick. So each siege phase, is 42 days. It's affected by a bunch of different things. But I can make that less by having a spy network. That will lower the amount of days in my siege tick. It's really important. Also, on a level 2, you need to have... oh, they have no garrison. Okay, so on a level 2 fort, you need 6. You can see regiments needed base of 6. So if I had less than 6, the siege would just not progress. It would just stay right here on 36 days until the end of the siege phase. But I don't need any more than the 6. So what I can do is go over here. I would like to keep the leader, so I'm not going to do that, but I am going to detach this army, and I'm going to just come right here and occupy... Well, no, I'm going to put them right here on the capital. The capital has a fort of 1, which means I only need 3. So it's a little overkill. I like being a little bit more than is absolutely necessary for these, but also I think we're going to get Granada sieged down pretty quickly, especially with our 4 siege general, which is crazy. Now, ships do not repair unless they are in port, so I'm going to keep my navy in port for 1 more month because they have, ships here 95%. They're still trying to recover from being mothballed. You can detach damaged. It's hotkey A, and what that will do is it'll give me just the ones that are fully healthy, and if I bring them out here, these ones, whenever they're all fully healthy, will just come automatically join them. No real need for that. The other thing is that they need a leader as well. Don't need a leader, but I would like for them to get a leader as well. And the only way I can get that is to just recruit an admiral for 50 diplomatic power. And that's not great, but it's not terrible. And I'm going to wait till the end of the month so that they are done repairing. Now, these are all siege ticks. Now, because they have no garrison, they mothballed their fort, and they have no garrison, and we got on there before it was done, then this should be just go to me, even though I have a negative 28% chance of winning. Because there's no garrison, there's no one to defend it, so this should just go to me right now. And it did. So that wasn't a great explanation, but we're going to go ahead and put the 4 siege there, and I'm going to put my combat stack here. And then now, April 1st, you can see the little hammer went away, so it is fully ready to go. So we're going to bring it on down here, and we're going to scare off the Moroccan Navy, because I think we can win that fight. So I don't think that that's going to wind up being a thing. Now, as predicted, Tlemcen here is going to be destroyed by Morocco and Tunis, but they should at least distract Morocco and Tunis as they head in here, and they won't bother me. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the 4 siege general on the only remaining fort in Granada. I'm going to put my combat stack the closest to combat. Portugal has let us through. So as soon as I get this navy off of the fleet, off the strait, I can move my combat stack on down, which, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and still keep the 4 siege pip general here. What I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just detach everyone from him. And I'm going to leave that person here, and I'm going to bring all my troops. Actually, I'm just going to bring the combat stack here and occupy this, just so I have it. Because I want to be able to block them from the strait if possible. So now, what we have is, let's go to the siege view. Here it is, open siege view. We have, from the leader, 4. From the progress, it moved up 1, so we have 1, so that's 5. We don't have any artillery yet. It is not being blockaded, so I need to get my navy over here to blockade it to remove this -2. And then the fort level itself is at level 1. So every roll that I do, so every time you finish a siege phase, then you roll a 14-sided die. You get a 1 to 14. Last roll I got 9. And then it's affected by all of these. So I got 9. Actually, last roll probably was 0, but it would have been 9. In this case, 10, 14, 14, 12, 11. So then you can go over here and you figure out what would that do. The result of that, supply shortage, would be 5 to 11. And so that would be a supply shortage, which I think progresses the phase by 1, so this would become a 2, and the next roll would happen. You need to get 20 or more in your roll to win the siege, unless there's no garrison. And so that's what we're trying to do. And so I cannot get there. Even if I got a 14, a 14 would be 15, 19, and then 19, 17, 16. So even if I got the best roll I could, it would still not win. So that's why surrender has a chance of 0 and why I have a -% chance of happening. However, if you do roll a 14, naturally, just the die, not a calculation, just if you roll a 14 on the die, then you get walls breached, which gives a +3, which is very, very nice. You also can breach the walls with artillery, which we'll deal with later. So Morocco is indeed scared of my navy. They ran over here. I think I can still win that battle, so I'm going to go ahead and push the issue. And Morocco is still running away, so now we are fighting Morocco. Okay. So it's 23 on 20. They're keeping the 13 Moroccan ships over here. They should actually win that because they have galleys. Hopefully Tlemcen wins that battle. Here we are facing 3 heavy ships and 14 light ships, with 4 heavy ships and 9 light ships. So this could be a bad battle. The admirals are literally awash. So we'll take a look and see what we're doing here, but looking good, looking good. We have lost a ship. They have not. And so I'm going to go ahead and just retreat. Because I don't want to lose a ship. I don't want to lose my entire navy. That would be really bad. So you retreat from a navy battle. Every time there is a battle, there's a countdown for how long you can retreat. Ooh. Well, Aragon, I really would like to keep my manpower, but I want opinion with you more. Opinion with your allies is really good. So I did lose a ship, but only one. So we can, kind of wait for them to repair a little bit. But every time you start a battle, notice I'm getting attrition here. So we need to move them to Cadiz, where their supply limit is heavier. Every time you enter a battle, you have to go through a certain amount of time before you can... Alright, so now we can actually just go. Before you can retreat, but once you have finished that amount of time, you can retreat and not have any problem. In this case, I need the stability to not be below 0. 0 is kind of pushing it. So we're going to lose the legitimacy, even though I like legitimacy. Now, legitimacy is, it's going to... Right now, we still have it above 70, so we're still getting good benefits from it, but you want to keep that up if you at all can. I am curious what ships are still okay. So I hit A there to see what ships are still okay. Now in combat, that's a terrible roll. So in combat you will roll a die that is, I think, 0 to 9. And then your general also plays a factor. In this case, my general has 1 more shock than him, so I get 1 shock. But then also the terrain plays a factor. Fez is a mountain. Mountain province, which I think you can only tell in the tooltip. I guess you can tell up here in terrain. So that means the dice roll for attacker is -2. It has some other effects there you can see. In this case, we basically rolled a 0, right? We rolled a 1. We got 1 from the general and then lost 2 for the terrain. They rolled an 8. That's really, really bad. They're also going to get reinforced. We'll talk about that as soon as they get reinforced there. Drylands. Show province. Drylands does not have any modifier against the army, so that's not a thing that I have to worry about there. Yeah. So they're actually heading to reinforce on the 26th. They're heading to reinforce on the 15th. This is actually not a good battle for me. So you can see here I can't retreat until we're done with 2 phases of battle, a fire and a shock, and then another fire and a shock. So each one of those, each one is combined. But on the 14th, I can retreat. When they come in on the 15th, they'll have full morale. And they'll boost the morale of their guy. I could have this free company come in, and maybe I would actually win the fight, and that might be something to do. But have them come in. Now, they can't just go straight here because this fort has a zone of control. So, because they entered this fort, they have to leave the way they entered it. And then they will be able to go into any province that has a fort, which Fez and Tangiers have. Technically, a level 1 fort doesn't count for that. I'm going to take these guys and move them too. They were supposed to go along with that. So when we reinforce, which will happen on July 26th, we will get our full morale bonus as well. We have 1. Fantastic. I also noticed that the Navy has split up, but that 21 is still a big factor there, and it does appear that the Papal State is not going to help us. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm on their capital. So if we go over here to sue for peace, they don't even want a white peace, but part of it is the ongoing Navy battle. They're actually pretty close. But part of it is that they hold their capital. The other thing is occupied and besieged provinces, as you can see up there, plus 32. That's because we occupy 2 of their forts right now, or siege 2 of their forts, which is worth a lot of score to them. So let's go ahead and wait for that Navy battle to be done. and then we'll see where they're actually at. Because my goal was to just try and win a siege of their capital and get them out of the war, get them willing to wipe peace, which they likely would be willing to do at that point. You can see here that length of war, that matters. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to come out here and I'm going to blockade some of their provinces. I just hit A to detach the broken, and then I split with S. And I'm going to take them on out over here. And now was a little bit more, not enough. And they are moving. I don't know what they're doing with it, but okay. So the papal controller, which we'll talk about in a later episode, is the Pope. And the Pope has now called for a crusade, which gives us more taxes, more morale of armies, more manpower, more prestige, more papal influence, while we are at war with the target of the crusade, which is Morocco. So now, if we pieced out Morocco, which I'm trying to do, we would lose all that benefit. Wish the Pope had called it against Tunis or something like that. But that is what it is. So I'm going to hit A again. And I'm going to bring these 3 ships out. Now, if I combine these 2 fleets, this one will no longer automatically come join. So I think I'm going to just attach instead and see if they automatically come join, because they're only 1 month away. But I'm going to try and fight again, because I would like to blockade this and get that 4 siege general down here. Okay. That's not bad. I don't need the money. So do I want a national unrest reduction? Or do I want a yearly prestige? I think yearly prestige is the clear choice. And I want to say that is here? Yes. So you can see that a level 2 person normally costs 4.08. But now, that one was 50% cheaper to employ, so he's only going to cost 2.04. That will make us earn 2 from the advisor. We get a lot more administrative power, which is going to be a very important thing, because we are going to be using some administrative power at the end of this war. Now, I'm fully aware they're going to come in. So we may have to retreat as soon as we can, which is October 2nd. We are losing ships. So we are going to go ahead and retreat. We lost another ship. That was not what I wanted to have happen. But it is what it is. My calculations have not proven out. So the basic goal would be to figure out at the beginning of the war what you want to take. Now, if I had thought through that, I would know I want to take these lands, and I would have co-belligerented Morocco, but actually that wouldn't have really mattered because oh, right, Navarra. It wouldn't have really mattered because I would now have been trying to bail on Morocco. But you want to try and figure out, what do I want? And then whatever allies you're not wanting to take land from, you just try and get them out of the war as quickly as you can. So now I'm going to try and move, because getting their capital out is really, really important. I'm just going to try and move my 4-star 4 siege general down to their capital. In this case, I'm going to make one of them angry, so I might as well get money. And the burghers, actually, in the early game, it's fine. for the burghers not to be happy with you, because trade is not that large of an income for you. And so, yeah. We're going to pop the Navy out here and provide a blockade to this, so now they get 0 from not having a blockade, so that's really, really nice. But they're coming. And they're going to get here. So I can now call Aragon to arms. I don't think I need to. We'll find out. So they have put their entire navy in this. But I didn't lose a ship. They actually did. We knocked out several of their ships, which is very, very nice. Now, if I wanted to go ahead and press on, I couldn't even take all 4 anyway, so we're not gonna do that. I could call Aragon in for that. I could call Aragon in for Navy. So the next question would be, who else am I going to war with anytime soon? And I think the answer to that would be Portugal, because I'm going to get claims in the mission. So I want Aragon to fight against England. If England would even answer the call, because they are losing badly to France. But I want Aragon to fight that fight, so we will not be calling Aragon into this one unless the tide turns against me, which it shouldn't. As soon as we can, because I don't think I can walk. Can I? I can. Let's go ahead and march over to Tlemcen, because there's a possibility that once we it's a possibility that Morocco is the one who has the military access. When do you land? They're trying to land on Sevilla. They're going to land tomorrow. We have to risk being black flagged. Ooh, Morocco won't. Ooh. Alright, so I'm going to take my fighting army. And I'm going to pull them back and fight. And I'm just trying to fight long enough. We can't beat them. We did take one of their armies out, but they are going to land. And that's not cool. Oh, they fortunately did not land where they should have. So the only province I can go to, because I'm in the fort of control, or the zone of control of Tangiers, the only province I can go to is Tangiers. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and take these armies on over. We are going to go to Kef. I don't think I can go... Yeah, I can't go there, so, or to their capital of Tunis. So we're just going to take this army on over to Kef and try and take that fort as quickly as we can. Now once I occupy, just besiege Tangiers, just set foot on it, they should want out. And they do. And so I can take money from them, I can take, land from them. It may not hurt to take some land, like for instance that fort, but they're only 10 away, so I think we'll just try and take some money from them. I could actually... okay, so we don't get any of those, but it's nice. Okay. So you can right-click for 1 war score. You can shift and right-click for the largest possible amount, which I think is the largest they would accept, I guess, because 11 is definitely not the largest possible amount. Yeah, so that's actually opposite. So a shift and a left... Oh, I am opposite. A shift and a left click is as much as they're willing to accept, and a shift and a right click is 25 war score, which they obviously would not be willing to accept. So because they were willing to do 11 war score, we'll actually do war reps. If you can get 10 war score, war reps is always better. Then we'll get 8 ducats. Woo-woo. And war reps is for the next 10 years, they will give me 10% of their income, which is 0.81, which isn't great, but it isn't terrible. So now my army is black flagged, and I think I will deal with that in the next episode. I've been Taco Gaming. Normal stuff. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let me know if I'm going too slow, too fast, as well as letting me know if you liked it. And if you did, I will see you next time.